Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Here's Rihanna and Inga with Performance Management Insights.
Hi, Inga. Hope you're well.
Hey, I'm well, thank you. I hope you're doing well as well, as now the weather is slightly challenging across the globe, especially in Europe.
Exactly, and it's getting cold. I think we've gone straight into winter rather than even autumn. And yeah, unfortunately, I've not recovered completely from my cold from last week. So
Mm.
apologies again to our viewers if I start coughing through um, our Facebook Live.
Yeah, hopefully not. You look fantastic, so I couldn't even tell that you haven't recovered yet.
Yeah, you've got to get up, dust yourself off, and be ready to work. So, what do they say? If you dress and put yourself in the right frame of mind, then you will feel better. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. Great. Awesome. So let's rock the conversations about performance management then.
Hmm.
Today, let's talk about. We have been talking about why why to do performance management and how to learn performance management and how to do the feedback and all the other good things about performance management. However, let's talk today about why you shouldn't do performance management. Like maybe you shouldn't. Why as a leader you should focus on performance management? Maybe you shouldn't. Let's discuss that. Why you shouldn't do performance management?
I agree with you because I mean, funny enough, now I've been thinking about this and thinking, why should people really be doing performance management? It's such a lot of hard work. And if I was a line manager, I would sit there and think, you know what, I can use this time so much more better.
Absolutely.
And what am I going to lose if I don't do it? My employees would be happy. They're not being assessed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume my work is going to be done. So you tell me, Inga, if I had not to do performance management, I can't see anything that's wrong with it. What do you think? What problems would I run into?
Well, I'll start with benefits. If you don't do performance management, you can focus more on your Excel spreadsheets. You can
Mm,
focus more on your emails. You can focus more on making coffee and reading newspaper and all the bad news that are in the newspaper. So you can read a book. You can do so many things if you don't pay attention to your people. And the most important is you can really focus on your Excel spreadsheet. This is the best one. Excel spreadsheets, formulas, numbers, and just insightfully thinking. Lock yourself in the room and think
mhm,
about your business. Think about the numbers, think about the numbers you produce, think about the products, think about the strategy, how it's implemented or not implemented, and all the other good things. So, these are the benefits of not doing performance management. And I'd encourage you to explore that.
It sounds actually really, really good to me. But then I'm sitting and and I'm sitting and thinking, if I do that, do you think my employees will think I'm not interested in them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Your employees will think that you don't care. Your best employees will think, for a while, they'll think, oh, great, she leaves us alone. So maybe she trusts us to do a good job. So I'm happy that my boss leaves me alone.
Mm-hmm.
However, after some time, they will start to think, well, does she really know what I'm doing? Does she really know how I'm contributing to the business? Does she really cares about what I'm doing? Does she appreciate what I'm doing? And all these doubts start to kind of raise in their head, and they start to discuss it. And when there is a gap of information in somebody's mind, what they do, they fill this gap with the information they think is relevant, or they find relevant, or they find kind of suitable. So if there is a gap in employees' minds, kind of not understanding or not being aware whether you as leader, as a boss, care about them or not, whether you appreciate or value what they do or not, then they start to fill this gap and they think, oh, she hasn't spoken with me for a while. She has locked herself in a room and not speaking with me and just staring at her laptop, at her computer, and printing out these Excel spreadsheets. Probably she's not happy. Probably we are not doing well. Most probably she's going to fire me. Oh, if she's going to fire me, I better leave myself. I'm a great professional. I'm well recognized in the market. I know that I'm great, but now I start to doubt whether I will continuously develop my skills and expertise here, as most probably I'm not needed here. So I better leave myself before she fires me. And what happens? Your best employees start to leave your business. Here you
Mm.
go. That's the kind of beauty of not performance managing them.
It's true what you say, because while you've been talking, I've been putting myself in my shoes when I used to work within a company. And I used to work with line managers who hated doing performance management. And yes, we have that self-talk with each other, in your head, that you say, you start filling the gaps for yourself. And I've done that. I've sat there and I thought, I wonder they're not happy with my work. But then also I sit there and I try and convince myself, no news is good news. So if I don't get told anything, maybe they are happy with my work, but that might not always be the case. Um, but you are right, because I think if I take myself back to when I was an employee, most of the talk was negative talk taking place. And I think as employees, we also need affirmation to know that we're doing a good job. It's not only about the areas that you can improve upon, but it's also the areas in terms of where am I doing well, and also just getting a pat on the back to say, good job done, and that was a good project. So yeah, that's taking me back in terms of when I was an employee and how I felt. And yes, I think, as from a line manager perspective, especially if you're an introvert and you're a very strong introvert, and also if you don't have the skill sets to do this, I think it makes you feel safer. But it comes back to what you were saying, that um, it's normally your good employees that leave. The employees that that you sometimes wish they'll just resign and go, but you cannot say it, are the ones that stay behind. And I think it comes back to what we've always been saying over the series of Facebook Lives that we've been having. You're only as good as a team around you.
Absolutely.
And if your team is good, they will make you shine. And I think what it is that as a line manager, we build up in our head ourselves this whole issue about performance management. And that's why, we'd rather not do it from that perspective. Um, so, yeah, I think, yes, there's benefits of not doing it. But there would also then be repercussions to those benefits of not doing it from that perspective, which is quite interesting. And I wouldn't want to test it out in my business. I'm just sitting and thinking that now. But it would be interesting to hear from viewers, where they've been in businesses and where they've not gone through performance management. What has their thoughts been? Were they happy that they didn't have a performance review? Or would they have preferred to have that performance review? And if they would have preferred to have the performance review, what were the reasons that they would have wanted the performance review from their manager? And likewise, if there are managers watching this as well, or leaders watching this, where you were in roles where you were probably hesitant to conduct performance reviews, what were the reasons for that? And I think for me, it's probably come down to myself. When I had to do it the first few times, it was the fear, more about the unknown, and the reaction, I think, more importantly, from my employees. I knew the ones that I wouldn't get resistance from. It was more knowing I'm going to go into a review with somebody who's always argumentative and I'm going to have to deal with it. And then when it comes to that, I'd rather just not do a performance review.
Mm.
I'd
Yeah.
rather just leave it. Yeah.
It's kind of self-confidence question for a manager, and actually for employee as well. As a manager is concerned and wants to stay in their comfort zone and not talk, and especially if you are a manager who is promoted from being great technical specialist to leadership role, and now you have to talk to people instead of talk to Excel or talk to your laptop or some other tools that you're using. So if you are now a manager promoted to lead a team and you have to talk to people, it's obvious that if you don't have this experience or skill or knowledge how to do it, or toolbox of tools how to have a conversation, how to provide feedback, then it's safer to stay in your comfort zone. And it's and you feel kind of you feel fear, you feel you don't have confidence to speak to your team, and you're afraid what they're going to say and how I will manage the situation, if there will be some challenges, or will what I say be valuable for them, or will they appreciate that?
Yeah.
So that's more from manager's side. And then employees might feel fear as well, that they are not sure if the manager is going to speak with them for the first time ever. They think, what has happened? Have I done something wrong? Have I done something that my manager doesn't appreciate? Or what's going on? Why the performance management conversation is scheduled?
I think also, and I'm just thinking about a friend that, funny enough, contacted me in the week, actually last week. Sorry. And we were actually having this discussion, and she was telling me that one of the issues that she has is that she has an employee, and the employee just does the minimum, comes on time, just delivers in terms of what needs to be delivered. It's okay work, but it's not great work. But you also can't say it's bad work that's being delivered. And so it comes to the point as well, it's like, how do I manage this person? Because one, it's just mediocre in terms of what needs to be done. And so, from that perspective, I can understand when she also tells me, why should I bother doing a performance review? So it does become difficult.
It does become difficult. And actually, I had a couple of these kind of cases some time ago with one of my clients where the manager said, well, this employee just does okay job, but I want to see the sparkle in the eye, and I want to see that they're passionate about what they do and they go some extra mile
to
achieve what I want them to achieve, and even more. They said they came to me and they asked, should I fire them and should I replace them with somebody with a sparkle in the eye and who is passionate about what they do? And actually, when they applied this career conversation tool that we are going to share in the workshop as well, when they had career conversation with their employees, then they actually discovered that they need to change for one manager, there was a case that he needed to change slightly the content of employees' role. So some tasks, just slightly, so that employee becomes more passionate about what they do, and they see they needed to have conversation with employee to make sure employee sees the value of their tasks that they are completing and how it contributes to achieving the team goals and the company goals. And for the manager, this career conversation leads to employee just getting awareness that what they do is really appreciated, as they started to just doing tick box exercise, because they thought, okay, maybe this is not needed, I'll just do my tasks, but I'm not sure, is it really valuable? Does somebody pay attention? Is somebody reading the reports I generate, or is it just for a kind of sake of generating these
Exactly.
reports? So after having conversation, both of these managers, after having conversation with their employees, they actually sparkled the sparkle in their eyes, and the employees became more passionate, they became more energized, and they became more proactive, and The only thing that was needed this career conversation and showing employee that I value what you do, and I would like to understand, do you enjoy what you do, and do we need to change your job, or do you want to move to another role, or
Mm,
the company, or what are you expecting from me as your manager? So this kind of conversation.
exactly, because while you were talking and I was listening to what you were saying, I thought, let me just try to see if I can find this email that she sent. And she was telling me, like, in a nutshell, I have a very lazy team member who will do the absolute bare minimum. I've spoken to her already, I've discussed her outputs, I've talked about her hours, whether we can adapt that, but there's just no change. And I'm at the point now where I just don't know what else to do. And then, like I said, it's like they're just doing the bare minimum, but
Mm.
you cannot reprimand them for doing that because they're doing their job.
Mm.
And it's understanding the reason why they have become like that. Because my question, and I'm meeting with her next week, sorry, my question to her will be, what has changed? How was the employee before
Mhm.
versus to what the employee is now? And
Absolutely.
what do you think has changed for this to have an impact now at this moment in time? I think it's always important that we go back to the root of the cause.
Yeah.
There's so many things. We just make an assumption
Mm.
that somebody is lazy, and it's our assumption that we make. But if we go look at the reasons in terms of what is happening, there could be reasons in terms of why the employee is like that. And it could be that something has happened within their personal life that's having an impact on their work. But then again, on the other side of the coin, let's be realistic. We do get employees like that. They just do the bare minimum and they know that's all that they need to do. There won't be any repercussions.
Absolutely. Yes. Of course, there are employees like that as well who are on the other side of kind of sliding scale. There are
Mm,
excellent performers and people who really want to contribute, add value, develop, and grow the business. And of course, unfortunately, there are people who just want to do bare minimum not to get fired.
mm,
The beauty is, if you don't do performance management, then those people who are just doing tick box exercise and just hanging around not to get fired, they will impact the people who are excited, who are passionate, as people who are really driven and who want to perform and who want to deliver. They will see that the manager pays no attention to
mm.
their contribution, as well as manager doesn't pay any attention to those who are not really delivering and kind of exceeding expectations and going extra mile. So why should I care? They start to think, why should I bother?
Yeah.
I don't feel that I'm valued here, and I work really hard. I go extra mile. I add
Mm,
value. I care about the business. I'm passionate about it. I care about the team and teamwork. But I receive the same attitude and the same no conversation
yeah.
as my colleagues who are just coming here and just ticking the box and leaving it, getting up at 5 and leaving the business, and don't really care about the results. Just come here and hang around. So
Yeah.
I don't feel that I belong here because I want to work in the rocking team. I want to work in the passionate environment
Mm, mm.
with the
Yeah.
leader who shows that they care. So this can happen as well. That if we don't pay attention to those underperformers or people who are not really excited about what they do and just hanging around, then first we don't achieve as great results as we could if everyone was doing what they really are passionate about. And we start to lose great performers because they start to feel not valued.
Exactly. And the momentum is lost as well. And I think what's also quite important, Inga, is the fact that nothing stops you from, in your performance review with that employee, look and see, are the goals or milestones, as we spoke about, stretched enough? And, do we need to stretch it slightly more? Again, it comes back to maybe they're bored with their work. Maybe they want something else and they don't really voice this. And you just make the assumption that, they just doing what needs to be done and that's it. Yes, it's a different case if an employee is like that. And then there's different ways to manage that. But I would still say then you'll sit down and you look at more stretched milestones for them and looking at how they can achieve that. Because it comes back to what you're saying, it comes back to the team culture. It comes back to how do I keep that momentum going in my team? How do I, and I'm going to use this word very loosely, have one bad apple influence the other apples in the basket? Because as you know, if you put a bad apple in the basket, very slowly the other apples also then become bad. And you don't want to have that scenario. So it's looking at in terms of how do I keep the rest of the team motivated, but they also don't sit with the perception I can just do the minimum and get away with it. And it's not about getting away with it. It's about how do we work together to achieve the objectives of the company so that we can all benefit from it at the end of the day. Because ultimately it comes down to whether we like it or not, money. Comes down to it affects our pocket at the end of the day. The bonus that we get, if we all work really good, we all get good performance bonuses. If we don't, there might not be a performance bonus, or the performance bonus might be small. And it's in that word performance. Bonus is linked to performance. And coming back to that again, one of the reasons, yes, you might decide you don't want to do performance reviews, but it's a way of acknowledging your good employees. It's a way of giving them credit where credit is due. And when it comes to performance bonus time, you can then link the performance reviews to that part of the measurement. And you can recognize them that way and give them credit for that work being done.
Yeah, and more than that, creates the performance culture in the organization, in your business, that everybody is clear about what's the overall strategy and how it cascades to each department, how each one of the employees can contribute to achieving departments or teams' goals and strategy or milestones, and how it contributes to achieving company milestones, and how they will benefit from that. Yes, the system will work or some other type of recognition. And while you were talking, I came up with one more idea why not to do performance management.
Yeah.
As an example, that's an opportunity for you as leader not to find out any issues that are arising in a company, not to find out any problems that needs to be fixed. I said, you just lock yourself in the room. You don't hear the problems, as there are quite a few problems coming up in customer service, in IT support, in human resources, in finance, in other departments. So when you don't do performance management conversations, when you don't talk about the feedback, when you don't discuss what are the challenges and what are the opportunities within each person's role and department, then you don't hear these issues. You don't hear anything that needs to be fixed. And thanks God, you don't have to do anything. What do you think about this?
True, but now I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, yeah, as a line manager, it's easy for me to not go and do this. But then if I flip it around and I look at the reverse side, I'm like, there are too many reasons why I should be doing this. And I think it comes down to you as an individual as well. I'm a people person. I love people. I love to see people develop and grow and prosper. And yes, if they move on eventually from the company to another company because it's a promotion where I'm not able to give that to them, I know what's part of that career development for them. And that's where I get my satisfaction from. And I think it will differ from individual to individual. So that's why, as much as I'll be honest with all of you out there, I dislike performance reviews.
Mm.
And I dislike it more for the reason of I know I'm sometimes going to get the argumentative employees, and
Mm.
they just take so much energy. And so I've got to mentally prepare going into that meeting. Yes, I always have my I's dotted, my T's crossed. But you may just double sure about that, because they are the ones who would also just argue for the sake of arguing.
Mm.
Seems like they get some satisfaction out of it. And that's the reason why I don't like doing performance reviews. But
Mm.
I understand the benefit of doing it, and I understand what the other employees will get out of it. But more importantly, is the satisfaction I get to know that I've seen somebody grow. And the only way I could have done that was to understand, where are they now? Where do they want to be? What is that gap? And how do I help them to narrow that gap to where they want to be? Because
Mm.
through performance review as well, as that's how I come up with the training and development plans for my employees, and also whether I know they're ready for the next step, and how do I challenge them in the work that they're doing so that I can stretch and grow them.
Mm.
Um, so for me, yes, I would say the easy way going out is that, oh, I love all those benefits you mentioned for not doing performance reviews. But I think I'll flip the coin the other way and said, yes, even though I dislike it, the reasons in terms of doing it and getting it right is just too many benefits from that perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. And likewise, I'm a people person as well. And whenever I had teams in the past, I loved doing performance management conversations, feedback conversations, career conversations, development conversations, and all the other exploring and implementing all the other tools and conversations that are within performance management cycle. As first, I love seeing people getting inspired by feedback,
Mm.
by receiving developmental feedback as people want to learn, and by receiving really positive feedback on what they have achieved and how they have contributed. And through these development conversations, uh, I also got the opportunity to kind of guide the employees towards how they need to tailor their journey, how they need to tailor their approach, their attitude, their mindset, their kind of communication, and the way how they do things to be more successful. And what are the small tips and tricks that they could implement in their daily life to
Yeah.
feel happier, to build better connections, better relationships in the business, better support, and grow professionally and personally as well. So that's the beauty that leaders see. Those leaders who are doing performance management conversations and implementing the tools
Mhm.
that we're going to share in the workshop as well. That you see how your people develop and how they contribute more and more to achieving common milestones and common targets, and contributing towards strategy achievement as well. And you get recognized as leader as well, because you have a strong team, and your people follow you, your people support you, and your people help you to fix the issues that are arising along the business journey. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. Yeah. And I've just been thinking as well, while when I was a line manager, with and I had a team reporting into me, in the beginning as well, it's almost like box exercise. And we spoke about this on a couple of our other Facebook lives. The process is so formal, and you tend to wait to have a conversation because it's in the diary, because performance reviews is coming up. And yet I made it easier for myself when I started making the process an informal process, having continuous discussions. Like, so I would have weekly operation meetings with my team. And in there, we'd say, okay, what are we busy with for the week? What do we need to focus on? What are the challenges? Who's struggling with what? Who can in the team can help each other with regard to that? And in that way, the issues were highlighted immediately and
Mm.
could be addressed immediately. And nothing came as a surprise by the time you got to the performance review. So the performance review then really was a summary of the discussions that took place in the past already. And then that makes the whole performance discussion much, much more easier. But I do agree when it becomes, when you start out, you think, oh, I've got to do it this way. And I'm going to have my discussion with my employee only when it's performance review time. There's nothing in the rule book that says that. I'm almost at the point where I will say, let's take that rule book, let's tear it up and let's throw it away. Let's look at how we can make performance reviews easy, fun, and something that, yes, it's not enjoyable, but something that will make both parties feel comfortable with the process. Yes, we used to do performance reviews in a certain way in the past, but it does not mean we follow the same process now. You know, the principles need to be in place, but how you do it, it's up to you. How you want to implement it, it's up to you. We will provide the tools in terms of how it gets done, but it doesn't need to be a tick box exercise.
Absolutely. So to conclude our conversation today, I'd say that yes, there are benefits of not doing performance management. You as leader can stay in your comfort zone behind your desktop and just staring at your Excel spreadsheet or other tools that you are using from technical perspective. It's a big plus. It's a benefit that you don't have to step out of your comfort zone. However, as Rihanna, you mentioned, there are so many benefits of doing performance management. Really making sure that your people get the feedback, they are clear where they're going, they're clear on the expectations, they understand and they sense that they are valued, they are appreciated for their contribution, and they are recognized with a thank you and also with appropriate bonus if there is a bonus system. And also you can grow as leader. Your leadership journey, if you are having conversations with your people and you are receiving feedback yourself, as that helps you to assess and evaluate what else you need to develop in your leadership and how to become even better leader than you are, to make sure that people really want to follow you, they want to support you, they are excited, energized, and happy in your team, and they feel that it's a performance culture that they want to contribute, they are dedicated, they are passionate, and they want to achieve more together.
Exactly. That's a good summary, Inga. I'll leave that summary there because I feel I'm going to go into another coughing fit.
Right, yeah. So thank you, Rihanna, for today's conversation. And thank you, everyone who either have commented or liked or shared or will comment or ask a question, as based on your questions or the challenges that you sent us in during the week, we choose the topic for the next Facebook Live conversation, as our purpose is to share with you the insights on great leadership and performance management and business development through people. So that we have more than 50 years experience put together in HR and leadership. So we are happy to share the insights, experience, knowledge, and tips how to be a great leader and how to manage performance well. So please continue commenting, sharing, liking if you find it valuable, and please continue sending us messages, questions, any challenges that you face or experience or that you come up with while listening to our Facebook Lives, as it's our pleasure and we are happy to share with you and to give you answers and to share our insights.
Yeah, definitely. And as my request earlier on, it would be great to hear from both leaders and employees how you've experienced it, not receiving employee feedback, but receiving it as well, and which one do you prefer. So that's me for now. My voice is going. And we'll speak to you all next week.
Thank you, and till next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.